Hey, it's Kaylin, and today I'm talking to you about tips to work with difficult people. And here's the thing, we live in a world filled with people, and people are awesome most of the time. But there's always that one interaction that happens every now and then. You know the one I'm talking about, right? It's that one where no matter what you do, you just can't seem to provide satisfaction and close out the matter. And if this sounds familiar, pull up a chair, sit down, and let's chat. So, what's going on anyway when someone launches into a lengthy rant about how you're doing, fill in the blank, whatever it may be, you're doing it wrong, how you're insensitive, maybe you're out of touch with their needs, you've offended them, or maybe they're coming to you and they're just like, I'm only working with you because I have no other option. And in a lot of these situations, we try to take a diplomatic approach, but when it's with somebody really difficult, it seems like that only prolongs the pain. And your gut reaction might be to totally defend yourself, to fight back, or even just up and leave the conversation completely. But before you do that and say or do something that would damage both the relationship and potentially even your reputation, give yourself a minute to breathe and to process the information that's coming in. And don't dash off the very first unfiltered thought that comes up in your mind, because while you might feel like you're backed into a corner, believe it or not, a really great opportunity has landed in your lap. Right in the middle of this situation, if you're able to fix it, you might just earn that loyal client for life. So before writing off a difficult client, try the following steps to reframe the situation and to move forward. The first is to know that it's not personal. The founder of a company I used to work for, Dr. Howard Murad, has a saying, if it's not personal, don't take it personally. And it's fantastic advice because an outburst might be coming at you. And the fact is, though, even though you're feeling attacked, it's not you. The client usually has a bunch of other concerns, other things going on in their life that are stressors and pressure, and that's usually what's triggering that eruption. So back up and take your ego from the conversation. And keep in mind that that feedback coming to you is saying far more about your client than it does about you. Focus instead on those valid and helpful pieces of feedback and discard the rest. And then acknowledge the individual, which I have found is just essential to restoring peace, whether you're working with a client or a coworker or even a team member. And one thing I've seen countless times is how powerful the act of genuine acknowledgement is to quickly shift a conversation and just completely change the energy. It is okay to say I'm sorry if they've been wronged. They're venting. They need to know that you get where they're coming from. And don't start with, I understand, because a lot of times you haven't gotten there yet. So begin more with something like, I hear your frustration. Can you tell me more about what's going on so that I can really understand what's happening here? And then sit back and just let them talk. Because once you've asked the question, in a lot of cases, the floodgates are going to open up and they're going to just tell you everything. So resist the urge to get defensive. Try not to respond or interrupt, because the truth is, they're going to have a lot of concerns. Some of them you can't control, and some of them are just beyond the scope of anything you could address anyway. And while you can't and probably shouldn't fix every issue, you can still acknowledge that person's feelings. And just ask questions for clarification and really engage in active listening to show them that you're really interested and following what they have to say. And then the next thing is to really reframe the conflict. So remind that other person that you're on their side and you wish them happiness and success in everything they're doing. While you might not be able to wave a magic wand and totally solve the situation, you can always share ways that you're championing their success. And you can collaborate and brainstorm ideas together to solve the problem. And it never ever hurts to have that great referral network that if they need something that's out of your scope, you can give them a resource. The next thing is have a plan. It can be so helpful to create an action plan that addresses the root of that other person's frustrations, especially if they're a client or a member of your team. So make a list of that top thing that you can do right now that's going to make a positive impact. And if it's possible, address their concern in a way that delivers a real solution. The last thing is get buy-in and then implement that plan. So recap your plan and ask that person, does this sound good to you? What else should we add? And once you guys are in agreement, set up that time frame for really achieving the plan and establish who has responsibility for each part of the plan. And I always say, it's a two-way street, because when somebody comes with a problem, it's super helpful if they can also be part of the solution. So it's that engaging and being able to deliver on your promise in collaboration with that person that can really show them how you're willing to go the extra mile for them and you value their input. The truth is, right, an encounter with a challenging individual can leave you feeling like your whole day is ruined and you can just feel super defeated. But don't give up. Take initiative to turn it around, because some of your toughest critics will become fiercely loyal champions if you are able to acknowledge and resolve those concerns. And these are the people that will frequently go on to become your most vocal advocates, even more so than the happy-go-lucky, low-maintenance clients that you work with. So whenever it's possible, own the relationship, address the challenge head-on, and work to create a win for both parties. Thank you so much for dropping by today. I hope these 5 tips have been super helpful, and we will see you in the next video.